Good morning. Welcome to the Halacha Torah Halacha review for Monday, December 14th. We have gone through all of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch's basics of the laws and customs of Hanukkah. We're now looking at a sefer called Mamar Mordechai, Hilchot Chagim, Laws and Customs of the Jewish Year, for Sephardim and Ashkenazim. So there's interesting tidbits in here from Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, Zichrono Livracha, who used to be the Rishon LeZion, the Sephardic chief rabbi of Israel, passed away about 10 years ago. So we have some interesting notes as we've been seeing the last couple of days. So there's a special on halacha on Hanukkah, he writes, for someone who did not light and will not light that night. Let's say a person can't afford it. Let's say a person is traveling and doesn't have time to sit by the candles. For some reason, a person is not going to light that night of Hanukkah. And for any combination of reasons, no one is lighting back at that person's house on their behalf. So what do? So it's Hanukkah, you got to do something. When that person sees lit Hanukkah candles, they do make a bracha. They do not make the bracha lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah or Hanukkah because they're not actually doing the mitzvah of lighting Hanukkah candles. However, they do make a bracha she'asa nisim lavosenu. Bless you, God, King of the universe, who did miracles for our ancestors in those days at this season, at this time of the year. And he says, in addition, that if it's the first night of Hanukkah, that person makes Shechianu also. So we always talk about making the 3 brachas on the first night, and subsequent nights just the first 2 brachas, leaving off Shechianu. This is a curious situation, a very rare situation, where someone would make the second 2 brachas and not make the first. Uncommon, but interesting halacha brought in Orach Chaim, Shulchan Aruch, in Kaf HaChaim, and other places as well. Let's say the same thing occurs on the subsequent night. The person does not make Shechianu, even if he didn't make Shechianu on the first night. So Shechianu goes with the first night, and for such a person who's not lighting a menorah, and that's their only chance to say Shechianu. Interesting question, and here you have a divergence of opinions depending on which part of the Jewish world you belong to. The idea of declining to have in mind fulfilling your obligation. Let's say a family member, a spouse, a parent, or something, is lighting the Hanukkah menorah, and for any reason, I want to light my own menorah later and make a bracha and fulfill my obligation with that. Can I have in mind specifically not to, as we say, be yotze, not to fulfill my obligation by hearing someone else make the bracha and see them light the menorah? Is that a possibility? The Beit Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, in his magnum opus, Shulchan Aruch, is of the opinion that you cannot do that. That's not permissible. The Ramah degrees, Rabbi Moshe Israelis, who is authoritative for Ashkenazim, holds a slightly different opinion, says that you can do that. If you want, for any reason, not to fulfill your obligation by hearing someone else's brachas, you can specifically have in mind to exclude yourself from that bracha. Therefore, writes Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, Ashkenazim can have in mind not to fulfill their obligation with the lighting when they hear it at home, and bless somewhere else when they see candles. However, Sephardim cannot do this. In any case, he puts a footnote into his sefer here. Achronim, later commentators, wrote that since there are differing opinions about this matter, better to hear the brachas from someone else and not make the bracha on one's own. So if you find yourself in that situation, please consult with a competent halachic authority, and we'll find the right modus vivendi for you. Okay, so tonight is the famous Fünfte Lichtel, the 5th light of Hanukkah, very important. This light of Hanukkah, the 5th night, as it turns out, a little calendrical fun fact here, never comes out on Shabbat. The 5th night of Hanukkah, you see this year, what do we start? Thursday night. The way that our calendar is set up now, the 5th night will never come on Shabbat. So the 5th candle of Hanukkah is very special in that it illuminates a place even that Shabbos itself cannot reach. So have that in mind when you light tonight. Enjoy and have a happy Hanukkah, and please join us again tomorrow. Hanukkah Sameach.